to the Middle East, specifically looking at Gaza, where Israeli airstrikes have reportedly killed at least 28 Palestinians, including 4 children. This according to hospital officials. The strikes began late on Friday, pounding central and southern Gaza. 13 people, including children and 2 women, were reportedly killed in Deir al-Balah. Meanwhile, 15 were reportedly killed in Khan Younis. We have some clips to play you from some Gazans living in the enclave talking about the recent strikes.
الواد شهر 7 ومات شهر 7 5 سنين طبقين خلاص راحت فيه 5 سنين 5 فتحت بطني عشان اجيبه ما يموتش مني قتلوا اليهود الملاعين قتلوا اليهود اخذوه وسحبوه مني برب حضني العالم مش شايف كيف بيموت الناس اطفال بموتوا مين اللي بموت مقاوم ولاد مقاومين نعم عطشانين وجعانين بس استنى الصبح عشان يجيبوا خبز بطلوا صبحين الخبز بقول يا ما جعان بدي اكل مات ومالوش خبزه مات ومالوش خبزه روح جيب لهم ميه ابوهم قومني قومني عشان اشيل الحمل اللي وراه لسه في ايتام اكيد بنتي في العنايه وبنضرتي في العنايه ما ضلش حدا اللي ماتوا كل لحيته عيلتي راحت كل لحيتها انمسحت عيلتي.
Well, this comes as the Israeli military says that it has hit around 250 targets over a 48-hour period, claiming that this included terrorists, weapon storage facilities and Hamas infrastructure. The war in Gaza, of course, started when Hamas terrorists killed over 1,200 people and abducted 251 hostages in the October 7th attack. This in response to Israel's offensive, and it's killed over 57,000 people. According to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry, just to bring some context as well, we were reporting earlier today that talks in Doha between Hamas and Israel over a potential ceasefire brokered by Qatar, the US and Egypt are reportedly stalling over key differences. Joining us to discuss that and the latest strikes, Professor Kobi Michael, a senior researcher at the INSS and Misgav Institute, joining us from Israel. Let's first, Professor, look at these talks that are reportedly stalling. How significant is it for both sides in this war that these are resolved swiftly and a ceasefire and hostage release deal can be sorted out?
Good afternoon. I think that we are getting closer to a sort of a ceasefire agreement. We have to remember and to emphasize that this is a partial agreement, not a final status agreement. And as long as we are talking about a partial agreement or let's say a gradual agreement following a Witkoff proposal, I think that the gaps between both sides are bridgeable or close to be bridgeable. They are not bridgeable, the gaps between both sides, when it comes to the final status agreement, which means the end of the war, okay? But now we are in a very tough neighborhood where Hamas still believes that they can reach some further achievements. Qatar doesn't pressure Hamas the maximum pressure because the US doesn't pressure Qatar the maximum pressure. And I believe that the military pressure is not enough in this regard, because Hamas looks at the US and sees a very, I would say, determined president that seeks to reach to an agreement, and they believe that this president will pressure Israel, and therefore they continue pressuring in the negotiation and to remain tough and to refuse to make some further concessions. I think that they are wrong. This is not the first time that they are wrong, and they have misperception with regard to the reality, and they are not alone in this regard. Hezbollah was like that as well. Iran was like that as well. And therefore, I believe that only by combining the political pressure via Qatar and the military pressure, we will be able to reach to the agreement. And anyway, I think that we are talking about a matter of a week or something like that until things will be right.
Yes, and Professor Kobi Michael, just to finish our discussion, Of course, further reports of casualties in the Gaza enclave, reports of women and potentially children as well being killed. Of course, the IDF have been strong. Benjamin Netanyahu has been strong on the fact that these military operations will continue until either a ceasefire is agreed or his key aims are accomplished. Those are, of course, hostages being returned, the disarmament and the disbandment of Hamas in Gaza. Do you think that that method, while conversations are ongoing, while discussions are ongoing, do you think civilian casualties are helping in those ceasefire negotiations? Or could there be a different tack that's taken by the IDF at this point to avoid more civilian casualties that are being reported?
Civilian casualties are very unfortunate, and there is no doubt that Israel does the utmost, the IDF does the utmost efforts in order to minimize the collateral damage. Unfortunately, we are at war. War is a very bloody phenomenon, and there are casualties. But on the other hand, I would like to emphasize that whenever it comes to Hamas, we don't have to take Hamas as a very reliable source. We know that Hamas lies, we know that Hamas exaggerates, and we know that Hamas uses civilian and humanitarian facilities for terror purposes. Now, the IDF, as I said before, does best efforts in order to minimize the collateral damage by warning the people, by asking them to leave these areas and the humanitarian compounds or facilities, and uses very accurate weapon, a very precise weapon in order to minimize the collateral damages. I don't know exactly what has happened there because the IDF has not published yet a detailed report in this regard. I think that we have to wait to the IDF report in order to understand what exactly happened there. But let's remember and put in mind that Hamas uses AI and Hamas uses a lot of fake evidence. And I will not be surprised if at the end of the day, we will find out that the numbers are much smaller. And once again, I say that it is very unfortunate, but we are at war, and I think that the main questions and the main allegations must be addressed to Hamas because Hamas could have ended this war long ago.
Professor Kobi Michael, thank you ever so much for joining us and providing that information on a conflict that is continuing as diplomatic efforts also are underway. We will bring you all the updates on both the battlefield and also in diplomacy. But now it's time for the latest from across the world of business.